Well, this is a story of a donkey that walks, a donkey that runs, and a donkey that talks. Hee-haw! I'm beginning this tale very close to the end. A tale of a prophet, a king, and a friend. For donkeys are part of the great plan of God. It's true what I've said, so don't think it odd. In Bethlehem's stable at the birth of the king, my grandfather watched as the angels did sing. After shepherds had worshipped the babe in the manger, the wise men were warned of apparent danger. My grandfather fled with Joseph and Mary, way down to Egypt without growing weary. He told me this tale, and of course, there's much more. But now I must share what has gone on before. The story of Balaam, a prophet of God, and of a donkey who was struck with his rod. It began when some princes had come for a visit. They called for Balaam, and he answered, "Who is it?" From Moab they came, from a king named Balak. But Balaam refused them and sent them all back. So the king sent more princes to bring back Balaam. So the prophet then prayed to his god, called I Am. The same God who led Moses and the children of Jacob told Balaam to go if they called him to wake up. But no prince had called him or asked him to go. Yet Balaam went anyway when God had said no. So God sent his angel to stand with his sword. But only the donkey saw the angel of the Lord. The donkey turned quickly out of harm's way. But Balaam was angry and struck him that day. Again Balaam went through the vineyard so tall. But seeing the angel, the donkey turned towards the wall. After saving his life, don't you think it odd that Balaam repaid her with a stroke of his rod? And again came the angel to stand in their way. And seeing no exit, the donkey did lay. But Balaam was angry as the donkey sat down, and struck her again right there on the ground. "What have I done," said the donkey with ease, "that caused you to hit me 3 times as you please?" So Balaam just answered this donkey who talked, and threatened his donkey who had not walked. The donkey spoke softly to Balaam's reply, "Am I not your donkey? Is it not I?" Then Balaam's eyes saw for the very first time the angel, the sword, and he knew of his crime. He knew that his donkey had just saved his life, and he must obey God to avoid further strife. Yes, Balaam was spared by a relative of mine, way back in the past, before grandfather's time. A donkey saved Balaam so he'd learn to obey. Now it's my turn to serve God today. For that babe in the stable has grown to a man, and he sent for me as a part of his plan. To the house of a friend his disciples he sent. To find this young colt, on their mission they went. They brought me to Jesus who rode me that day. We entered Jerusalem, his will to obey. They hailed him as King, the Savior of man. I know I was there as a part of God's plan. As God talked through the donkey to save Balaam from disaster, my grandfather and I have each served the Master. For God has a purpose and a plan for your lives. You must love him and serve him until he arrives. He's coming again to take you all home, to live with him in heaven and eternally roam that heavenly city with streets made of gold, where you'll live forever and never grow old. Hee-haw!